Pasta is a staple food of traditional Italian cuisine, with the first reference dating to 1154 in Sicily. It is also commonly used to refer to the variety of pasta dishes. Typically pasta is made from an unleavened dough of a durum wheat flour mixed with water and formed into sheets or various shapes, then cooked and served in any number of dishes. It can be made with flour from other cereals or grains, and eggs may be used instead of water. Pastas may be divided into two broad categories, dried and fresh. Chicken eggs frequently dominate as the source of the liquid component in fresh pasta. Most dried pasta is commercially produced via an extrusion process. Fresh pasta was traditionally produced by hand, sometimes with the aid of simple machines, but today many varieties of fresh pasta are also commercially produced by large-scale machines, and the products are widely available in supermarkets. Both dried and fresh pasta come in a number of shapes and varieties, with 310 specific forms known variably by over 1,300 names having been documented. In Italy the names of specific pasta shapes or types often vary with locale. For example, the form cavatelli is known by 28 different names depending on region and town. Common forms of pasta include long shapes, short shapes, tubes, flat shapes and sheets, miniature soup shapes, filled or stuffed, and speciality or decorative shapes. As a category in Italian cuisine, both dried and fresh pastas are classically used in one of three kinds of prepared dishes. As pasta asciutta, cooked pasta is plated and served with a complementary sauce or condiment. A second classification of pasta dishes is pasta in brodo, in which the pasta is part of a soup-type dish. A third category is pasta al forno, in which the pasta incorporated into a dish that is subsequently baked. Pasta is generally a simple dish, but comes in large varieties because it is a versatile food item. Some pasta dishes are served as a first course in Italy because the portion sizes are small and simple. Pasta is also prepared in light lunches, such as salads, or large portion sizes for dinner. It can be prepared by hand or food processor and served hot or cold. Pasta sauces vary in taste, color and texture. When choosing which type of pasta and sauce to serve together, there is a general rule that must be observed. Simple sauces like pesto are ideal for long and thin strands of pasta, while tomato sauce combines well with thicker pastas. Thicker and chunkier sauces have the better ability to cling onto the holes and cuts of short, tubular, twisted pastas. The ratio of sauce to pasta varies according to taste and texture, however traditionally the sauce should not be excessive as the pasta itself must still be tasted. The extra sauce left on the plate after all of the pasta is eaten is often mopped up with a piece of bread. Etymology: first attested in English in 1874, the word pasta comes from Italian pasta, in turn from Latin pasta dough, pastry cake, itself the Latinization of the Greek I plus or minus I florin I barley porridge, in turn from I plus or minus I florin iiy, sprinkled with salt, salted. History. In the 1st century BC writings of Horace, lagana were fine sheets of fried dough and were an everyday foodstuff. Writing in the 2nd century, Athenaeus of Naucratis provides a recipe for lagana which he attributes to the 1st century Chrysippus of Chiana, sheets of dough made of wheat flour and the juice of crushed lettuce, then flavored with spices and deep-fried in oil. An early 5th century cookbook describes a dish called lagana that consisted of layers of dough with meat stuffing, a possible ancestor of modern-day lasagna. However, the method of cooking these sheets of dough does not correspond to our modern definition of either a fresh or dry pasta product, which only had similar basic ingredients and perhaps the shape. The first concrete information concerning pasta products in Italy dates from the 13th or 14th century. Historians have noted several lexical milestones relevant to pasta, none of which changes these basic characteristics. For example, the works of the 2nd century AD Greek physician Galen mention yttrian, homogeneous compounds made up of flour and water. The Jerusalem Talmud records that yttrium, a kind of boiled dough, was common in Palestine from the 3rd to 5th centuries AD. A dictionary compiled by the 9th century Arab physician and lexicographer Isubar Ali defines yttriya, the Arabic cognate, as string-like shapes made of semolina and dried before cooking. The geographical text of Muhammad al-Idrisi, compiled for the Norman king of Sicily Roger II in 1154, mentions Etruria manufactured and exported from Norman Sicily. West of Termini there is a delightful settlement called Trabia. Its ever-flowing streams propel a number of mills. Here there are huge buildings in the countryside where they make vast quantities of Etruria, which is exported everywhere, to Calabria, to Muslim and Christian countries. Very many shiploads are sent. Etruria gives rise to tri in Italian, signifying long strips such as tagliatelle and trinette. One form of Etruria with a long history is laganum, which in Latin refers to a thin sheet of dough, and gives rise to Italian lasagna. According to historians like Charles Perry, the Arabs adapted noodles for long journeys in the 5th century, the first written record of dry pasta. The dried pasta introduced was being produced in great quantities in Palermo at that time. In North Africa, a food similar to pasta, known as couscous, has been eaten for centuries. However, it lacks the distinguishing malleable nature of pasta, couscous being more akin to droplets of dough. At first, dry pasta was a luxury item in Italy because of high labor costs. Durum wheat semolina had to be kneaded for a long time. There is a legend of Marco Polo importing pasta from China which originated with a macaroni journal, published by an association of food industries with the goal of promoting the use of pasta in the United States. Rustichello da Pisa writes in his travels that Marco Polo described a food similar to lagana. Geoffrey Steenarton asserts that Arabs introduced pasta in the Emirate of Sicily in the 9th century, mentioning also that traces of pasta have been found in ancient Greece and that Jane Grigson believed the Marco Polo story to have originated in the 1920s or 30s in an advertisement for a Canadian spaghetti company. In the 14th and 15th centuries, dried pasta became popular for its easy storage. This allowed people to store dried pasta in ships when exploring the New World. A century later, pasta was present around the globe during the voyages of discovery. The invention of the first tomato sauces dates back from the late 18th century. The first written record of pasta with tomato sauce can be found in the 1790 cookbook L'Apiccio Moderno by Roman chef Francesco Leonardi. Before tomato sauce was introduced, pasta was eaten dry with the fingers. The liquid sauce demanded the use of a fork. History of manufacturing. Pasta manufacturing machines were made since the 1600s across the coast of San Remo. The extrusion press produced large amounts of uniform pastas. The consistency of shapes and texture of the pasta manufactured by the extrusion press is believed to be superior to handmade pasta. This technology has spread to other areas including Genoa, Apulia, Brindisi, Bari, and Tuscany. By 1867, Buitoni Company in San Sepolcro, Tuscany in the Upper Tiber Valley became one of the most successful and well-known pasta manufacturers in the world. Evolution. It is to be noted that the idea of using tomato sauce to give pasta its flavor was revolutionary since it was originally eaten plain. It was eaten with the hands as only the wealthy could afford eating utensils. The consumption of pasta has changed over time. It was once a small, simple item, but it is now often eaten in much larger portions and as part of complex, sophisticated dishes. Factors such as low prices and ease of cooking contribute to the growing popularity of this staple item. In modern times, the art of pasta making and the devotion to the food as a whole has evolved since pasta was first conceptualized. It is estimated that Italians eat over 60 pounds of pasta per person, per year, easily beating Americans, who eat about 20 pounds per person a year. Pasta is so beloved in the nation of Italy that individual consumption exceeds the average production of wheat of the country. Thus Italy frequently imports wheat for pasta making. In contemporary society pasta is ubiquitous, and individuals can find a variety of types in local supermarkets. With the worldwide demand for this staple food, pasta is now largely mass-produced in factories and only a tiny proportion is crafted by hand. However, while pasta is made everywhere, a product from Italy keeps to time-tested production methods that create a superior pasta. Pasta was originally solely a part of Italian and European cuisine owing to its popularity there. With an increase in popularity on a worldwide scale, pasta has crossed international borders and is now a popular form of fast food and a staple in North America and elsewhere. This is due to the great amount of Italian immigration into Canada and the United States around the beginning of the 20th century. Similarly, an immense immigration of Italians into South Africa ensured that spaghetti and meatballs became an essential part of South African cuisine. Ingredients. Since the time of Cato, basic pasta dough has been made mostly of wheat flour or semolina, with durum wheat used predominantly in the south of Italy and soft wheat in the north. Regionally, other grains have been used, including those from barley, buckwheat, rye, rice, and maize, as well as chestnut and chickpea flours. In modern times, to meet the demands of both health-conscious and coeliac sufferers, the use of rice, maize and whole durum wheat has become commercially significant. Grain flours may also be supplemented with cooked potatoes. Beyond hen's eggs and water, liquids have included duck eggs, milk or cream, olive or walnut oil, wine, ink from octopus, squid or cuttlefish, and even pig's blood. Other additions to the basic flour liquid mixture may include vegetables purees such as spinach or tomato, mushrooms, cheeses, herbs, spices and other seasonings. While pastas are, most typically, made from unleavened doughs, the use of yeast-raised doughs are also known for at least 9 different pasta forms. Varieties. Fresh. Fresh pasta is usually locally made with fresh ingredients unless it is destined to be shipped, in which case consideration is given to the spoilage rates of the desired ingredients such as eggs or herbs. Furthermore, fresh pasta is usually made with a mixture of eggs and all-purpose flour or a AO or a low-gluten flour. Since it contains eggs, it is more tender compared to dried pasta and only takes about half the time to cook. Delicate sauces are preferred for fresh pasta in order to let the pasta take front stage. Fresh pastas do not expand in size after cooking. Therefore, 1.5 pounds of pasta are needed to serve 4 people generously. Fresh egg pasta is generally cut into strands of various widths and thicknesses depending on which pasta is to be made. It is best served with meat, cheese, or vegetables to create ravioli, tortellini, and cannellini. Fresh egg pasta is well known in the Piedmont area near the border of France. In this area, dough is only made out of egg yolk and flour, resulting in a very refined flavor and texture. This pasta is often served simply with butter sauce and thinly sliced truffles that are native to this region. In other areas, such as Apulia, fresh pasta can be made without eggs. The only ingredients needed to make the pasta dough is semolina flour and water, which is often shaped into orecchiette or cavatelli. Fresh pasta for cavatelli is also popular in other places including Sicily. However, the dough is prepared differently. It is made of flour and ricotta cheese instead. Dried pasta can also be defined as factory-made pasta because it is usually produced in large amounts that require large machines with superior processing capabilities to manufacture. Dried pasta is mainly shipped over to farther locations and has a longer shelf life. The ingredients required to make dried pasta include semolina flour and water. Eggs can be added for flavor and richness, but are not needed to make dried pasta. In contrast to fresh pasta, dried pasta needs to be dried at a low temperature for several days to evaporate all the moisture, allowing it to be stored for a longer period. Dried pastas are best served in hearty dishes like ragu sauces, soups, and casseroles. Once it is cooked, the dried pasta will usually increase in size by double of its original proportion. Therefore, approximately 1 pound of dried pasta serves up to 4 people. The way to create the finest dried pasta is by mixing golden semolina flour, ground from durum wheat, with water. Good quality dried pasta is identified by its slight rough surface and compact body that helps maintain its firmness in cooking, since it swells considerably in size when cooked. Culinary uses. Pasta is generally served with some type of sauce. The sauce and the type of pasta are usually matched based on consistency and ease of eating. Northern Italian cooking uses less tomato sauce, garlic and herbs. In northern Italy, white sauce is more common. However, Italian cuisine is best identified by individual regions. Pasta dishes with lighter use of tomato are found in Trentino Alto Adige and Emilia-Romagna. In Bologna, the meat-based bolognese sauce incorporates a small amount of tomato concentrate, and a green sauce called pesto originates from Genoa. In central Italy, there are sauces such as tomato sauce, amatriciana, arrabbiata and the egg-based carbonara. In Tuscany and Umbria, pasta is often served alla carretera. Tomato sauces are also present in southern Italian cuisine, where they originated. In southern Italy, more complex variations include pasta paired with fresh vegetables, olives, capers or seafood. Varieties include puttanesca, pasta alla norma, pasta con la sarde, spaghetti aglio, olio e peperoncino. Production: homemade. Ingredients to make pasta dough include semolina flour, egg, salt and water. Flour is first mounded on a flat surface and then a well in the pile of flour is created. Egg is then poured into the well and a fork is used to mix the egg and flour. Salt is added to the dough and is kneaded until it is smooth and dry. If the dough remains sticky, semolina flour is further added and is kneaded until it is dry. The dough is then shaped into pieces that are kneaded to make sheets of pasta. Then a rolling pin is used to flatten the dough. There are a variety of ways to shape the sheets of pasta depending on the type of pasta that needs to be made. The most popular types include penne, spaghetti, and macaroni. Kitchen pasta machines, also called pasta makers, are popular with cooks who make large amounts of homemade pasta. Sheets of pasta dough are fed into the machine by hand, and by turning a hand crank, the pasta is then extruded through a machine comb that shapes the pasta noodles as they are extruded. Storage: the storage of pasta depends on how far along it is processed. Uncooked pasta is kept dry and can sit in the cupboard for a year if airtight and stored in a cool, dry area. Cooked pasta is stored in the refrigerator for a maximum of 5 days in an airtight container. Adding a couple teaspoons of oil helps keep the food from sticking to each other and the container. If the cooked pasta is not used in the 5 days, it may be frozen for up to 2 or 3 months. The pasta will start to dry after a period of time, but it varies with the type of pasta. Should the pasta be dried completely, it can be placed back in the cupboard. Factory manufactured: the ingredients to make dried pasta usually include water, semolina flour, egg for color and richness, vegetable juice for color and taste, and herbs or spices for flavor. However, ingredients may vary. Semolina flour is piled in silos that will transfer the semolina through a pipe and into a mixing machine. Warm water is poured into the machine to mix with the semolina flour. The machine kneads it until the mixture becomes firm and dry. If pasta is to be flavored, eggs, vegetable juices, and herbs are added to the mixture. The dough is then passed into the laminator to be flattened into sheets. It is then further compressed by the vacuum mixer machine to clear out air bubbles and excess water from the dough until the moisture content is reduced to 12%. Next, the dough is processed in the steamer to kill any existing bacteria it may contain. After steaming, the dough is ready to be cut. Depending on the type of pasta to be made, the dough can either be cut or extruded through dies. Then the pasta is set in a drying tank so that it can be dried under specific conditions of heat, moisture, and time depending on the type of pasta that is being dried. The final step is to package the pasta properly. Fresh pasta is sealed in a clear, airtight plastic container. During the sealing process, air is sucked out of the container and replaced with carbon dioxide and nitrogen mixture. This slows microbial growth and prolongs its shelf life. Dried pastas are packaged differently from fresh pasta. It is placed in stainless steel buckets that are transferred to appropriate packaging stations to be portioned and sealed in plastic or cardboard packages. Market: Italy produced 1,432,990 tons of spaghetti in 1955, of which 74,000 tons was exported, and had a production capacity of 3 million tons. By 2011, the 3 largest producers of dried pasta were Italy, the United States, and Brazil. The largest per capita consumers of pasta in 2011 were Italy, Venezuela, Tunisia, and Greece. In the European Union, Total pasta sales in 2008 were $8.361 billion, of which $5.722 billion was for dried pasta, $2.244 billion was for fresh or chilled pasta, and $395 million was for canned or preserved pasta. In 2009, retail sales of pasta represented a $2.809 billion market in Italy, $1.402 billion in Germany, and $1.179 billion in France. Fresh pasta represented a $996 million market in Italy in 2008. Italy is the world's largest exporter of pasta. In 2007, it exported 1.7 million tons of pasta, and the largest export markets were Germany, France, the United Kingdom, the United States, and Japan. Italy's pasta exports represented 53% of its total production in 2007. Nutrition. Pasta, especially whole wheat pasta, is known to have several health benefits. Whole wheat contains considerable amounts of minerals such as magnesium, iron, calcium, potassium, zinc, selenium and manganese. Minerals are important for the body because they help with the structure of bones, regulate heartbeat, maintain muscle, and take part in regulating cell growth. Pasta contains complex carbohydrates, which release energy slowly compared to sugar, providing energy for a longer time. Pasta also contains a small amount of sodium, and has no cholesterol. Assorted pastas are rich in essential nutrients such as iron and vitamin B. Another benefit of eating pasta is that it provides niacin. This vitamin is essential for bodily functions such as converting carbohydrates into glucose, which produces energy for the body. Enriched pasta also contains folic acid, which is beneficial for childbearing women. Folic acid is needed for the proper growth of cells and development of the embryo. Pasta may not contribute to obesity, as weight gain is often caused by excess calories in a diet, rather than its carbohydrate content. The amount of protein in pasta depends on the type of flour used to manufacture it. If it is made from durum wheat, the pasta contains protein and gluten. Pasta is considered to be a good source of nutrition for vegetarians because it contains protein comprising 6 of the 9 essential amino acids. The Mediterranean diet is a health approach in which the goal is to prevent illness and diseases. This diet is composed mainly of a number of plant foods such as pasta. Other foods include olive oil, dairy products, eggs, red meats, and small amounts of fish and poultry. International adaptations. As pasta was introduced elsewhere in the world, it became incorporated into a number of local cuisines, which often have significantly different ways of preparation from those of Italy. In Hong Kong, the local Chinese have adopted pasta, primarily spaghetti and macaroni, as an ingredient in the Hong Kong-style Western cuisine. When pasta was introduced to several nations, every culture adopted different style of preparing it. In the past, ancient Romans cooked pastas by frying or boiling it. It was also sweetened with honey or tossed with garum. Ancient Romans also enjoyed baking it in rich pies, called timbali. In Tang, macaroni is cooked in water and served in broth with ham or frankfurter sausages, peas, black mushrooms, and optionally eggs, reminiscent of noodle soup dishes. This is often a course for breakfast or light lunch fare. These affordable dining shops evolved from American food rations after World War II due to lack of supplies, and they continue to be popular for people with modest means. 2 common spaghetti dishes served in Japan are the bolognese and the Neapolitan. In Nepal, macaroni has been adopted and cooked in a Nepalese way. Boiled macaroni is sota copyright ed along with cumin, turmeric, finely chopped green chilies, onions and cabbage. In Greece hilopits is considered one of the finest types of dried egg pasta. It is cooked either in tomato sauce or with various kinds of casserole meat. It is usually served with Greek cheese of any type. In India too, macaroni is prepared in same way but in Indianized way. Pasta is also widespread in the southern cone, as well most of the rest of Brazil, mostly pervasive in the areas with mild to strong Italian roots, such as central Argentina, and the 8 southernmost Brazilian states. The local names for the pasta are many times varieties of the Italian names, such as a plus or minus hoque for gnocchi, ravioles ravia cubed leaf for ravioli, or tallarines taylorum for tagliatelle, although some of the most popular pasta in Brazil, such as the parafuso, a speciality of the country's pasta salads, are also way different both in name and format from its closest Italian relatives, in this case the fusilli. In Sweden, spaghetti is traditionally served with paragraph TTFA currency RSSANS, which is minced meat in a thick tomato soup. In the Philippines, spaghetti is often served with a distinct, slightly sweet yet flavorful meat sauce, frequently containing ground beef or pork and iced hot dogs and ham. It is spiced with some soy sauce, heavy quantities of garlic, dried oregano sprigs and sometimes with dried bay leaf, and afterwards topped with grated cheese. Other pasta dishes are also cooked nowadays in the Filipino kitchen, like carbonara, pasta with Alfredo sauce, and baked macaroni. These dishes are usually cooked for gatherings and special occasions, like family reunions or Christmas. Macaroni or other tube pasta is also used in sopor, a local chicken broth soup. Fettuccine Alfredo with cream, cheese and butter, and spaghetti with tomato sauce are popular Italian-style dishes in the United States. In Australia, boscaiola sauce, based on bacon and mushrooms, is one favorite among many. Regulations. Italy, although numerous variations of ingredients for different pasta products are known, in Italy the commercial manufacturing and labeling of pasta for sale as a food product within the country is highly regulated. Italian regulations recognize three categories of commercially manufactured dried pasta as well as manufactured fresh and stabilized pasta, dried pasta with three subcategories: durum wheat semolina pasta, low-grade durum wheat semolina pasta and durum wheat wholemeal pasta. Pastas made under this category must be made only with durum wheat semolina or durum wheat wholemeal semolina and water, with an allowance for up to 3% of soft wheat flour as part of the durum flour. Dried pastas made under this category must be labeled according to the subcategory. Special pastas, as pasta above, with additional ingredients other than flour and water or eggs. Special pastas must be labeled as durum wheat semolina pasta on the packaging, completed by mentioning the added ingredients used. The 3% soft flour limitation still applies. Egg pasta may only be manufactured using durum wheat semolina with at least 4 hence a unregistered trademark eggs weighing at least 200 grams per kilogram of semolina, or a liquid egg product produced only with a unregistered trademark S eggs. Pasta made and sold in Italy under this category must be labeled egg pasta. Fresh and stabilized pastas includes fresh and stabilized pastas, which may be made with soft wheat flour without restriction on the amount. Pre-packaged fresh pasta must have a water content not less than 24%, must be stored refrigerated at a temperature of not more than 4 degrees Celsius, must have undergone a heat treatment at least equivalent to pasteurization, and must be sold within 5 days of the date of manufacture. Stabilized pasta has a lower allowed water content of 20%, and is manufactured using a process and heat treatment that allows it to be transported and stored at ambient temperatures. The Italian regulations under Presidential Decree No. 187 apply only to the commercial manufacturing of pastas both made and sold within Italy. They are not applicable either to pasta made for export from Italy or to pastas imported into Italy from other countries. They also do not apply to pastas made in restaurants. U.S. In the U.S., regulations for commercial pasta products occur both at the federal and state levels. At the federal level, consistent with Section 341 of the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act, the Food and Drug Administration has defined standards of identity for what are broadly termed macaroni products. These standards appear in 21 CF Part 139. In those regulations the requirements for standardized macaroni products of 15 specific types of dried pastas are detailed, including ingredients and product-specific labeling for conforming products sold in the U.S., including imports. Macaroni products is defined as the class of food prepared by drying formed units of dough made from semolina, durum flour, farina, flour, or any combination of those ingredients with water. Within this category, various optional ingredients may also be used within specified ranges, including egg white, frozen egg white or dried egg white alone or in any combination. Disodium phosphate. Onions, celery, garlic or bay leaf, alone or in any combination. Salt. Gum gluten. And concentrated glyceryl monostearate. Specific dimensions are given for the shapes named macaroni, spaghetti and vermicelli. Enriched macaroni products is largely the same as macaroni products except that each such food must contain of thiamine, riboflavin, niacin or niacinamide, folic acid and iron, with specified limits. Additional optional ingredients that may be added include vitamin D, calcium, and defatted wheat germ. The optional ingredients specified may be supplied through the use of dried yeast, dried torula yeast, partly defatted wheat germ, enriched farina, or enriched flour. Enriched macaroni products with fortified protein are similar to enriched macaroni products with the addition of other ingredients to meet specific protein requirements. Edible protein sources that may be used include food-grade flours or meals from non-heat cereals or oil seeds. Products in this category must include specified amounts of thiamine, riboflavin, niacin or niacinamide and iron, but not folic acid. The products in this category may also optionally contain up to 625 mg of calcium. Milk macaroni products are the same as macaroni products except that milk or a specified milk product is used as the sole moistening ingredient in preparing the dough. Other than milk, allowed milk products include concentrated milk, evaporated milk, dried milk, and a mixture of butter with skim, concentrated skim, evaporated skim, or non-fat dry milk, in any combination, with the limitation on the amount of milk solids relative to amount of milk fat. Non-fat milk macaroni products are the same as macaroni products except that non-fat dry milk or concentrated skim milk is used in preparing the dough. The finished macaroni product must contain between 12% and 25% milk solids not fat. Carrageenan or carrageenan salts may be added in specified amounts. The use of egg whites, disodium phosphate and gum gluten optionally allowed for macaroni products is not permitted for this category. Enriched non-fat milk macaroni products are similar to non-fat milk macaroni products with added requirements that products in this category contain thiamine, riboflavin, niacin or niacinamide, folic acid and iron, all within specified ranges. Vegetable macaroni products begins as macaroni products except that tomato, artichoke, beet, carrot, parsley or spinach is added in a quantity such that the solids of the added component are at least 3% by weight of the finished macaroni product. The vegetable additions may be in the form of fresh, canned, dried or a puree or paste. The addition of either the various forms of egg whites or disodium phosphate allowed for macaroni products is not permitted in this category. Enriched vegetable macaroni products are the same as vegetable macaroni products with the added requirement for nutrient content specified for enriched macaroni products. Whole wheat macaroni products are similar to macaroni products except that only whole wheat flour or whole wheat durum flour, or both, may be used as the wheat ingredient. Further, the addition of the various forms of egg whites, disodium phosphate and gum gluten are not permitted. Wheat and soy macaroni products begins as macaroni products with the addition of at least 12.5% of soy flour as a fraction of the total soy and wheat flour used. The addition of various forms of egg whites and disodium phosphate are not permitted. Gum gluten may be added with the limitation that the total protein content derived from the combination of the flours and added gluten not exceed 13%. Noodle products are the class of food that is prepared by drying units of dough made from semolina, durum flour, farina, flour, alone or in any combination with liquid eggs, frozen eggs, dried eggs, egg yolks, frozen yolks, dried yolks, alone or in any combination, with or without water. Optional ingredients that may be added in allowed amounts are onions, celery, garlic, and bay leaf. Salt. Gum gluten. And concentrated glyceryl monostearate. Enriched noodle products are similar to noodle products with the addition of specific requirements for amounts of thiamine, riboflavin, niacin or niacinamide, folic acid and iron, each within specified ranges. Additionally, products in this category may optionally contain added vitamin D, calcium or defatted wheat germ, each within specified limits. Vegetable noodle products are the same as noodle products with the addition of tomato, artichoke, beet, carrot, parsley, or spinach in an amount that is at least 3% of the finished product weight. The vegetable component may be added as fresh, canned, dried, or in the form of a puree or paste. Enriched vegetable noodle products are the same as vegetable noodle products excluding carrot, with the specified nutrient requirements for enriched noodle products. Wheat and soy noodle products are similar to noodle products except that soy flour is added in a quantity not less than 12.5% of the combined weight of the wheat and soy ingredients. It is important to note that the federal regulations under 21 CFR Part 139 are standards for the products noted, not mandates. Following the FDA unregistered trademark S standards, a number of states have, at various times, enacted their own statutes that serve as mandates for various forms of macaroni and noodle products that may be produced or sold within their borders. Many of these specifically require that the product sold within those states be of the enriched form. According to a report released by the Connecticut Office of Legislative Research, when Connecticut's unregistered trademark S law was adopted in 1972 that mandated certain grain products, including macaroni products, sold within the state to be enriched, it joined 38 to 40 other states in adopting the federal standards as mandates. Beyond the FDA unregistered trademark S standards and state statutes, the United States Department of Agriculture, which regulates federal school nutrition programs, broadly requires grain and bread products served under these programs either be enriched or whole grain. This includes macaroni and noodle products that are served as part of the category grains breads requirements within those programs. The USDA also allows that enriched macaroni products fortified with protein may be used and counted to meet either a grains breads or meat alternative meat requirement, but not as both components within the same meal. See also, cooking, Italian cuisine, list of pasta, National Pasta Association, references. Literature. Soventi, Silvano. Sabin, Françoise. Pasta, The Story of a Universal Food. New York, Columbia University Press. ISBN A978-0-231-12442-3. External links, National Museum of Pasta Foods Rome, Italy, Pasta Facts Facts about pasta.